Okay, so we have just launched the Kickstarter for Dragon's Interest. This is the relaunch for the game. I am here to answer any and all questions any of you might have about Dragon's Interest or TMG in general, or whatever. I guess I could answer anything. But I'm just going to pull up the old Kickstarter page now so I can watch what's going on. I'm watching pledges come in, which of course makes me very happy. So this is the game. I just got back from Geekway to the West. This was a convention I'd never been to before. I know I've been to Missouri before. I think it was quite a while ago though. But that was a convention where I was able to show the game off. Here, I might as well actually like hold up my game here so you can actually see it. And this is a little bit weird because Kickstarter Live doesn't exist anymore. That was a really good way for us to connect with our backers and with the people that watched it. But this is a situation where we have we're using a YouTube live stream. We're using the TMG the TMG YouTube page. So this is a way around that, where we can actually like have a live stream or whatever running. So that being said, if you are currently watching it, you have to actually click on the live or whatever for it to run. So hopefully, if you're going to the Kickstarter page, you can do so and you can tune in and you can watch this. But very quickly, the Dragon's Interest live stream is for answering any all questions you may have about this. And I'll be actively looking at the comments and also and following along. Looks like wow, okay, we hit $1,000. I turn around and I look somewhere else, and all of a sudden I just see that we've already hit $1,000. The pledges are coming in, and this is awesome. So I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully, I'm gonna put a little thing here on. I'm gonna edit. Already doing the first edit. I'm gonna do a little quick little thing here to edit the project, just to say people that they have to click on the live stream to be able to actually see it run. And we're going to go ahead and put that in there. But I'm going to talk a little bit about Geekway a little bit to just let you know how it went for me until I get a question or two. Here, please click on the video above for any and all questions you might want. I don't know why I'm reading this aloud while I type this. Want answered about Dragon's Interest while we do the live launch stream. All right. So, and then you'll have to post those comments as comments on the on the page to see it. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, is that Geekway was really cool. I had a great deal of fun there. It was one of those things where it was like kind of a very very chill, very like laid back convention, but it was like full of people that were really really big fans of the of just gaming in general, and so it's something that I really enjoyed. And we had this copy. This is like kind of our copy that like Andy, one of our lead developers within the company, this game was something that he worked on a great deal, and he made this excellent version of this, like as far as prototype goes, and we were able to show that off, and we were able to get people to be able to play the game. I'm just going to show you quick. So this is a prototype, so you can't really go by anything that's in here, but if you have an idea of how the main mechanism, if you want to know, one of the main mechanisms, I should say, about Dragon's Interest is that as you're going to be borrowing money. So like you approach the dragon. The dragon says, okay, here are my offerings as far as the contracts this particular round. And there's contracts for all these different buildings, and you place these building tiles down. And these contracts are on those building tiles, and like it would, as far as like how much it's going to cost you. Well, technically, it isn't a contract; it's money that you're going to get back. You know, because the dragon's kind of benevolent in a way. But in your hand, you have these cards, and I might as well dig those cards out so you can kind of see them. In your hand, you'll have these cards, and just so you can see them, and they have these different dollar amounts on them, like as you can see. And everybody has like, so like this is like the back of that card. Remember, this is a prototype, so keep that in mind. So this is the back. There's a lot of sun. It's actually sunny in Minnesota today. This is weird. It's supposed to rain later. But like here's the back of another one of the cards. So like you can tell. But everybody's got the same cards, and they've got the same contracts. And what they'll do is they'll look at what the dragon's offering that particular round, and they'll pick one of those cards and they'll place it face down in front of them. And then they'll turn those over and reveal them at the same time. Whoever was willing to spend the most money that particular round for a building will be the first person that gets to choose which building they take, and then the reward for taking that particular building. And then they go ahead and place that building in their kingdom, and then they take the contract and they put that underneath like the spot on their player board. And I might as well show you the player board since I'm talking. They'll place that contract underneath their player board, and this is here. You'll get, and this is once again a prototype, so keep that in mind. So then there will be these two player boards. You'll keep this, and these will be like facing like this in front of you. And then you'll place the building corresponding to the color that's on there. And what they'll do then is they will have the contract underneath and the building on top. You can lose buildings because people can steal them from you later on in the game, but you never lose the contract. But eventually what will happen is the dragon will ask you to pay back that money, and if you don't have the money, you will unfortunately have your kingdom burned to the ground. Now, this is a well beaten up, this is a prototype box that has been kind of beat up a lot, so you will not look like this. You're not going to get a beat up treasure box in the game. What happens with this is that you will have this box, and when you activate your buildings, a lot of the buildings will say place either your knights or your coins that you're willing to offer to another player, and then you put those in there. And what happens is that you then like hand this to somebody. It's like a secret box, and then they'll take this and they'll peer inside like so, and then they'll have to decide if they're going to match your bid and then hand the box back to you, or take the stuff out. If they hand the box back to you, you get everything in the box, but then they get to steal a building from you. If they accept your bid that you gave them, you get to take the building that they have. And the buildings are the key to the victory. This isn't like there is. This game enhances and modifies the game that is Ponzi Scheme that Jesse Lee created. But you don't win by having money at the end of the game. You win by having the best kingdom, having the most stuff. So that's, you know, so there's a distinct difference between those two things. Now that being said, I know there's 4 of you watching right now, because it's, or 5, 6, oh, sorry, 6, 7. So if you have any questions, by all means, please ask away, and I'll try to answer those questions. And if it's anything, if it's about TMG or Dragon's Interest or any of those things, you can definitely ask whatever you like, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. Also, if you have any questions that you want to place in the comments or anything like that, I or somebody else within TMG will be monitoring that, and we'll take care of that as well. So looks like we're about ready. Oh, I just finally clicked, and it looks like we are, you know, climbing up in the old funding, and we're hitting 3,000 bucks here, and we have 45 backers. This is not going to be a deluxe game, as far as like we did launch this as a deluxify game, but this is now more of a straightforward, you know, like classic one where we just collect the pledges and we'll be doing stretch goals and what have you. That's just maybe kind of a return to our roots, so to speak, as far as that goes. But you can definitely expect to see more deluxe games coming from TMG in the future. So, I was talking about Geekway. As far as other conventions that TMG will be attending, you can expect to see Taste Mitchell games at Origins very shortly. This particular campaign will be live through Origins. So if you do attend Origins in Columbus, Ohio, you can definitely you can expect to see multiple copies of Dragon's Interest, multiple prototypes there. So if you wanted to give it a try and see just how awesome this game is, we'll be happy to show it off there and do so. The rules are available for you to download. Dan King has an excellent rules video that you can definitely click on that, and you can get a very in-depth look at how that works as well. So you can do that. But the other thing is that like if you go down to the reviews, we have Tantrum House did a fantastic review, as did Forrest and Rob Oren. If you're not familiar with Rob Oren, he's a tabletop lover of all things tabletop, and he's based down in Florida, and we got him a copy, and he expressed great interest in trying this one out, and he liked it a great deal. So other than that, I guess I can just get you while I'm waiting to see if I get any questions about this. And if you're watching this after the fact, as far as this because this stream will be available for people after the fact. If you're watching this after the fact, you can definitely post comments to the Kickstarter page, send us an email at support@tmg.com. If I would not suggest posting a question on the YouTube video, just basically because I don't know how closely it will be watched. But if you do that, or you can send us an email at support@playtmg.com, we can probably answer anything you have there as well. But there, I'm trying to remember, like what I was talking about. Oh yes, there you go. Conventions, like I said, will be at Origins. I believe right now our plan is to attend Dice Tower in July, and of course we will be at Gen Con. Yeah, there you go. Other than that, I'm trying to remember what other games that we got that people were excited about. I saw more people playing. I saw people. We were showing off Dragon's Interest, and people were coming up and asking for demos of it. But the one game I'm going to say that I thought, well, two games actually, from TMG that I saw a lot of people playing at Geekway were Crusaders from TMG. And also Chimera Station, which actually made me very happy. Well, I mean, it should make me happy that any of our games I see being played. I saw Yokohama being played quite a bit too. But Chimera was a game that I thought kind of flew under a lot of people's radar, and I think there was a play to win, a play to win event, and Chimera Station was part of that. And but so I think a lot of people use that as a way to check out the game and give it a try, maybe something that had they hadn't seen before. And we got a lot of people coming over to our booth and asking about, well, when was this published and when was this made? And it just kind of goes to show, as far as like the sheer number of games that are being published right now. I mean, I can remember, and I said this to a lot of people, I can remember there was a time when I would go to a convention and I could walk down, like if you've ever been to a big gaming convention, and there'll be a large hall with, hundreds of tables set up with thousands of people playing games in that room. I shouldn't say thousands, but I suppose if there was like 100 tables, maybe 4 at a table, Okay, so yeah, that's probably so hundreds of people at hundreds of tables. Let's go that route. And I would go walk, and I could point. I was like, okay, I know that game. I know that game. I know that game. Know that game. I know that game. Now with all the new games being published all the time, I get very like I see stuff all the time. I'm like, I'll stop and I'll see a game. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is that game? And I'll go over and I'll go check it out. And so. Chimera Station, I believe, was published a couple years ago now. But it was very nice to hear people like saying, "Oh, I never saw this before," and people like came over and asked questions about it, and we luckily we had a few copies. Actually, we had a few deluxe copies from that old Kickstarter campaign that we had for sale, and then people were able to go home with a deluxe copy of a game they never knew actually was around. So there you go. Um, mm, I hope, like I said, I'm not. If you have, I'll tell you this. If I see any like comments or questions, like just in the in the thing as well, I'll try to answer those as best as I can. And I do see that we have like about 10 or 11 people watching right now. And if you're watching and you've backed or you're thinking about backing or whatever, thank you very much as always for the support that all of you show Tasty Minstrel Games. It's like one of the things about TMG is that we really understand that like without the backers, without the people stepping up and supporting our company, I mean, we just couldn't create the games that we like. And so these are these things that we love creating games, and we love the fact that so let's see here. Let's see here. Uh, let's see. Oh, so I got some good comments, whereas people are happy to see that this is back from Tydell 10 minutes ago. This price works much better for me. It was a personal struggle to pledge last time, and we understood. And that was one of the things that we went back to the drawing board, and we kind of just we did that. And obviously the cool thing here is that the dragon coins in this game, and I do have the dragon coins. Let me actually, well, I should say I have the prototypes for the dragon coins, and these are a little bit difficult to show because because obviously I'm doing this on the web, but I gotta track these down here, and I think they might actually be in the box. But regardless, oh, here they are. So the dragon coins, and these are, once again, these are the prototypes that we got. They may change slightly. They may be increased in size a little bit. They will probably have a wash on them. I'm almost guaranteeing that there will be a wash on these. And like it's weird because I have my screen over here. I can see what I'm doing. But here, actually, I'm not going to show you the big one first. Now, these are only one-sided because they're the prototypes, but these will be two-sided coins. So, I don't worry, they're not going to be flat on the other side. So I'm going to try to show this, and hopefully, so here's the dragon coin. Here, come into view here. Maybe if I completely cover it. This is, there you go. So that is the dragon coin number 1. And of course, I believe I'm holding it upside down. So let's try that again. There is the dragon coin number 1, and like I said, these will likely have a wash on them. So like it'll really pop as far as the if you understand what a wash is. Like here, I think like there's a Colosseum coin in here that I can show you. This is from our the TMG Colosseum game. So like these, notice how they have that dark spots on them, like that. Like if you have a wash on these, what happens is that, and allow me to geek out as far as washes go. Like that's like when, as a miniature painter, when you discover washes for the first time ever, you're like, oh my gosh, this makes it so much easier. Because what it is like basically you have paint that's very very diluted, and it just it seeks like the little crevices and what have you in the on whatever you're painting on, whether it is a miniature or if it is one of these coins. And then what happens is that then the pigments get left behind after like basically the water or the wash salt, the what of it dries up, and so then you're left, the pigment then is left behind, and it just makes everything pop. So here is the drag. God, just, I love, I I almost had it. There we go. So there is the 5, and here, oh, and of course when I saw the back of this one first, I was like, why do we have a rebellion thing? But then you might remember this will be a two-sided thing. So here we go, and then this is the 10. And so these are the dragon coins that you're going to be placing. And and if you don't choose to buy the dragon coins, that's fine. But the dragon coins obviously are really, really cool, and metal coins are just awesome, and they always will be. So there you go. But getting back to Tydell's comment, they said happy to see it back. And the fact that the price point is better. And that's one of the things. We went back to the drawing board. We saw what we could do. We saw what we could change up, and we tried to present the game in a way that people, it would be more acceptable as far as, and that's the big thing, is like, if we're going to be publishing games, we need to listen to our backers, we need to listen to our customers, and we need to make sure that we respond in kind. So thank you for backing. And but that, of course, is like, just, it sounds simple, but it can sometimes it can sometimes escape, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, hey, we're at $4,300 with 66 backers. That's awesome. This is one of those things where it's like, I always, hey, we just got 2 more, just like that. Whenever I hit launch, it's like there's always like, you work and you work and you work and you try to make a good Kickstarter campaign, and you try to make sure that people are engaged and they're excited, and you want them to be happy. There you go. Okay, so hey, Brody Sheard just asked me a question. And Brody, I apologize that I was talking and I was in another screen, so I didn't see your question. What game is next for TMG on Kickstarter after this one? Well, you can't hold me to it, because things can always change. But our plan right now is to launch Emperor's Choice Deluxe. Now, Emperor's Choice is a heavy euro from Hisashi Hayashi, obviously of Yokohama fame. Hisashi publishes a lot of his games on his own brand, which is called Okazu brand, in very small print runs. And so some people have been out there and they've played it or whatever. So giving a quick rundown on, I'll try to explain Emperor's Choice. It's one of those games where has a lot of layers as far as like the things that you do, and how you turn those things that you do into points. So each person will have like they're like a lord that they're trying to impress the emperor and become the Emperor's Choice. That's where the name comes from. You're going to have a hand of cards that is your followers, your people that are like soldiers and spies and diplomats and so on and so forth. And those cards are going to be used. They have values and they're used in auctions. Now, the reason why you use them in an auction is that, and they have powers too. So it's like they have a thing where it's like, oh, I want to bid 6 or something, but the cards themselves will have certain effects, and they'll have certain effects either like sometimes when you bid, or sometimes they'll have certain effects in other rounds as well. But getting back to the point, the reason why you're bidding is that you are trying, the main thing is you're trying to get tiles. Now, when I say tiles, in the Okazu brand version, they were a bunch of cardboard tiles, and they are placed in a draw bag, and they'll be pulled out, and you display them. Now, these tiles have a lot of different things. There's carriages, there are treasures, there are parts of the Great Wall, both wall pieces and towers. There are philosophers. I mean, there's all kinds of these different tiles, and each one of them has a thing that they do for you, and as far as an ability, and what they they get placed out in rows. And depending upon the number of players, there'll be a row of, say, 4 tiles, and there'll be a row of 3 tiles, and so on and so forth. And if you win, like the bid, you're going to get to choose which row of tiles you want, and then you place those tiles in front of you, and then you'll build up a tableau of tiles in front of you as the game progresses. But that's just like one layer of the game. Like I said, this is a heavy Euro. So then those tiles then will be used for a lot of different other functions, as far as affecting several different like how's the best way to describe it, I guess, would be like kind of like a scaling a ladder, like victory point tree, if you will. And as you scale these things, you will gain different rewards, victory points, or money and things like that, and you'll get those back. There's also tiles that are bad when they drawn out. There's like tiles like barbarian tiles that might attack, and so you have to defend your nations and things like that. But ultimately, one of the big things is that you want to be in the emperor's favor, and then get to choose these laws. And these laws are basically like kind of like big giant scoring things, where it's like, oh, whoever has the largest wall or something, or wall section, gains a certain number of points. And so there's a balance that you have to make between using cards to bid, getting certain number of tiles, which route you want to be, try to be the person that gets to pick the law in that particular round, stuff like that. And we are going to have like a very good rules video for it. I believe Richard Ham is going to do a video for it as well. But it is a fabulous game. And the really cool thing is that since we're going to deluxe it, we're looking into, and I'm almost positive we are going to have all those tiles, instead of being cardboard in the deluxe edition, they are going to be like mahjong tiles, like those Bakelite tiles, or like so really, really high quality with the art on them and things like that. And so that'll be a wonderful tactile feeling of having this bag of like mahjong tiles that you can shake up, and you can reach in and you can pull those out, and then you'll place those out. And I like games that have high levels of interaction. I like games that kind of just have certain I said tactile. Like there's something like I've played a lot of games with like mahjong tactiles, and there's something about that clickety clackety noise when you're shuffling those things up and things like that, and it just kind of feels cool. Like I remember there was like a version of Hanabi that used those like kind of Bakelite tiles, and I always like thought that was a better version of Hanabi than cards. I just liked it better. So I mean, regardless, it's going to have an amazing table presence or whatever. For those of you scoring at home, these are the energy drinks of choice that I've been drinking lately. The Bang brand. I mean, it's kind of a dumb name, but the Sourheads Bang is fantastic. I was up late last night working on the Kickstarter page, and so I'm a little draggy today. So I'm dragon. Anyway, so yeah, I've been sipping on this all day. 0 carbs, 0 sugar. For those of you that are watching your carbs, that's something I've been doing. So trying to get in better convention shape, if you will, if that's a thing. But yeah, all right, cool. So yeah, thank you for those questions, and thank you, Brody, for asking about that. Oh, somebody just said something awesome. Christina just said, I back all TMG games. Nicest and most generous people I've ever visited with in Essen. They have my unconditional support. That just warms my heart. So there you go, Christina. Thank you so much for backing the game and for supporting TMG. That's amazing. So here we go. Peter Taddeo actually said, oops, I guess they're stickers, and he's got a frowny face. Well, I mean, there is a possibility. I mean, here's the deal with stickers, and I understand people not enjoying stickers. I totally get it. I once I've told this story before, and I won't keep repeating myself, but I once took and I went and uh, made a poker chip version of Dominion and Dominion Intrigue, and I put them in a So I basically what I did was I took wooden like wooden discs, the poker chip size wooden discs, because poker chips would be way too expensive. It would just be stupid. But and if you ever want to talk poker chips, I'll talk poker chips with anybody all day long. I collect them, and I just it's a rabbit hole of a thing. But so I found a place online where I could buy wooden discs, and like for cheap. It was something like it was like 7 or 8 cents a disc. And so then, and I had to have, however many cards are in Dominion Intrigue. So I had to, have like I don't remember, 500 of these wooden discs. You do the math. It wasn't super expensive. And then I went and the people on BGG like posted like sticker sheets, like a sheet of paper that basically could be a like you put on sticker paper. That would be the discs. That would be the perfect size. And so then what I did was there's these things that are like that are like they're used in like for lots of different hobbies, but they're basically a hole punch where you chunk and you cut it out, you chunk. And so I was sitting there, and so I printed off I don't know how many dozens of these sheets of sticker paper, and I sat there and I punched out all of these stickers, these circles. And then I actually went through the whole process of peeling this little like the sticker back off these things, slapping it on, putting it on another wooden disc or whatever. And I did that. It took me. I mean, I remember my daughter was not old enough really to help me. I don't even think my son was born yet at that time. I think my daughter was probably like 4, maybe younger. And I remember my wife helped with a few, but I ended up doing the vast majority, and I just sat in there watching movies, on that TV back there actually. And I would sit there and I would peel these things, and then you'd line them up and you put them on. And if you got it off, you have to peel it back and put it back on, and whatever. So I understand. The long story short, there is I understand being annoyed putting stickers on. I've done my share. Let's just say, but stickers are a really inexpensive way to make a game look nice, right? I mean, if you have a meeple that you can put a sticker on, and these are larger meeples, the night meeples. These are larger meeples that you're going to get with the game. So, it's like it's. I mean, they look cool as it is. You can kind of see he's got the sword, and he's got a shield or whatever. But you can, but like when you put a sticker on there, it adds some bright color. It's very vivid, and it works really well. And it's just, and like I said, a sticker sheet is a relatively inexpensive way that we can add to a game that will make it look nicer or whatever. So, but that's not to say that if we were able to fund to a certain level, if we were able to add silk screening to those meeples, that's definitely something we would look into doing, and not just the knights. We could, look into doing it for all of them, and we'd still include the stickers. So if people didn't like the silk screening and wanted to cover them up with the stickers, they could do that as well. So. All right. Anyway, getting back to what Peter said, he also said, "I back everything TMG. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm happy not to see any stickers so far." Oh, then he posted, I saw the stickers. Motorcast, can we supersize the dragon since it's more than just an aesthetic appeal? I love the dinosaur from Climate and the raccoon from Raccoon Tycoon. I just played Raccoon Tycoon again for at Geekway. I won too. So I probably remember I probably remember it because I won. But yes, being more than a start marker or a turner would make a large dragon an incredibly attractive component to handle. I think that's a great idea, and I will turn that over to like the people that make those decisions. I mean, I have input obviously, but if it's something that we can feasibly do as far as if certain funding levels met or something like that, we'll look into it. There we go. So awesome. Perfect. All right. So just looking, oh, hey, I turn away and we hit $6,000. We got 93 backers. So we're about, this is like, I mean, we're over a quarter of a way to funding, which is awesome and is super cool. I'm going to check and make sure I didn't miss any questions that people may have had here. This is one of the things where I'm a little annoyed. I mean that Kickstarter stopped doing the Kickstarter Live because that they were able to do so. Oh, Michael said that. I agree. It is too bad, Michael. But there you go. I agree. Maybe I can convince Michael to join, and then we can have a conversation. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? But there you go. There is a big difference, but unfortunately, it's tough to. Michael's not going to join me. All right. Well, I tried. But so I'm just going to kind of run down through what I think a lot of people, like a lot of questions people may have. And this is not, I mean, I maybe I'll and Michael Michael, if doesn't want me to answer questions, like presume questions, then he could jump in and say something. But otherwise, I will try to presume possible questions. Any questions on shipping? We always get a question on shipping. Shipping is, Aaron, if you listen to the TMG podcast, which I strongly suggest that you should. I mean, we try to do one episode a month. We update you on like all of the TMG news that is fit to print, as they say. So we try to make sure that like what's going on with TMG, and you can check that out. But we also try to like when we can, we try to get our other people within TMG to add whatever. Like I'm trying to get Michael to just talk about like maybe the state of the business, and I strongly want Michael to do so again very very soon. But regardless, so the TMG podcast, we answer, like, give you updates on any existing Kickstarter projects that are going on as far as the funding and as far as the delivery of those projects. If there are any other games that we didn't go to Kickstarter, we're just doing print runs of them. Then we let you know as far as that. Like if a game of ours has gone out of print and if it's coming back in stock, we update those things. So the TMG podcast is also where you can hear me talk, usually with Aaron. And the reason I bring that up is that Aaron, or Aaron as he's known to all of us, Aaron is a good dude. He is our shipping and logistics manager. He is in charge of all of the processes as far as what it will take to get game X from manufacturer Y delivered to port Z. And then once it's at port Z, he is also in charge of how those things will get picked up and then shipped to distributors, retailers, backers, and what have you. And he works tirelessly trying to find the best, like what they say, there's three things in business. You can have it fast, you can have it cheap, or you can have quality, but you can only pick two, right? Well, Aaron tries to get all three. And but it's one of those things where just here and so, but he tries to get all three, and more often than not, he does get all three. So maybe I can get Seth. Seth's in the chat. Maybe I can get Seth to join in. Seth joins in on the like, he's joined in on podcast before on TMG. He's also joined in on my channel's live broadcasts, and so that we can get him on there. But regardless, I figure I'm only going to talk for 1 hour, so I should probably, if I only got 15 minutes left here, so let's try to get that taken care of. So the big thing is that Aaron figures out the best shipping. Maybe like he'd find something that would be cheaper, but in the past we've had shipping where, we're like that particular partner for shipping didn't take care of the games very well, and the games themselves arrived damaged or they arrived late or things like that. And so we look for the best combination of all three of those things and try to ship it. So yes, you might be in a situation where it's like, oh, why is shipping cost X? Well, I guarantee you that it isn't like a haphazard decision. It's something that we look into very carefully and try to make the best possible decision for all of our backers, and to make sure that they're pleased and they are happy and they get their game both safely and also expediently. So other questions people may have that like these things seem to come up. Like I think people may ask, oh, why isn't this particular game going to be a deluxe? Well, it's not that it can't be. I mean, we have stretch goals that will eventually push this game into one of those things where the game will look really nice. But here, this is another game where we kind of front end loaded it a little bit, but we front end loaded it with stuff that made sense to actually have in the retail edition. And the biggest thing is, and once again, this is not how this is going to look. This is my, you can hear all the coins in there. This is a I'm showing you the back of the dragon, or the well, anyway. So here's like the dragon box or whatever. And this artwork is what's the dragon, but this, like you can see, it's all frayed and stuff. This was handled pretty roughly at Geekway this last weekend. But this this box, whatever, it's a rather expensive component. It's going to be high quality, and it's going to be in every single box, both retail, because you couldn't really play the game with, like, if this was if we had a deluxe game, this box would be in both the deluxe and the retail versions of the game. And the box itself is like a rather expensive component, and it has some heft to it and weight to it or whatever. So it was one of those things where it's like, the deluxe version of the game just didn't make sense. Instead, let's just go ahead and make sure that we get people a really nice quality game, and then get it sent out to them. And if, depending upon funding level, we can go ahead and increase that. And obviously, the thing we're doing for our Kickstarter backers, because I know there's people that are going to be saying, well, why should I back it right now? Why can't I could just wait, and then once it's published, I can get a copy at my local game store. Maybe you have a discount program or something at that store. We get that, but you're going to want the metal coins, right? You're going to want these super cool things, and we are giving a really big discount. The MSRP on the coins is going to be $30. So you're getting those added to the game for, I think, like $5. As opposed to, and so I mean that's obviously the what we're trying to do to make sure that people understand, like, just exactly how good the discount's going to be. If you have a local retailer, if you have a local game store, and you're looking for and you want to work with them, you definitely, we have a retailer pledge, and you can go ahead and ask them to check out the campaign, and they can back on the retailer level as well. That also will instruct them to go ahead and check out the TMG Retailer Pavilion. It's a group that we have set up on Facebook, where we ask for all game retailers to share with us their information about their store, share with us the things that they're looking for as far as what they would like as far as partnership with a game publisher. And the one thing that we as TMG like to do when we travel is we like to go to local game stores in new areas. We like to go to obviously the game stores within our own areas, but we also like to go and check out local game stores. We also like going to trade shows like the Alliance Trade Show, and things in Gamma and things like that, where you meet people that own game stores, because they are a wonderful resource of information. I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's like we're asking them. It's like, what can we do to help you succeed as a store, but also what can we do to help us get our games on your shelves, and so we can spread the word about our game. And so we like having strong partnerships with them. And so if you have a local game store, and like you've been kind of wondering, it's like, oh, I don't usually see TMG games on the shelf or whatever, please tell them to go ahead and check out this campaign, see if they want to get a really good deal on a bundle of the games. We're offering 5 copies of the game, and plus a free demo copy in a bundle for them. And that might be something that they want to check out, and if maybe they'll hook you up with a good discounted copy as well, if you're the one that directs them to it. Who knows? I can't speak for your game store, but yeah, we love talking to game store owners. We love talking. Obviously, we love talking to our backers as well, and we love to just kind of follow along and keep our finger on the pulse of the industry. So other questions that we almost always get is can I do a group buy? We send all of our games, when we send games from a Kickstarter, we send them bundled up in a way that group buys don't work. People will look for oh, if I buy like 4 copies, can I get a deal on shipping? Well, I mean, the deal on shipping would be the fact that you're putting all 4 of the games together, and you are sending them as in a bigger box, and so that bigger box costs less money than say sending 4 individual games. And yes, that makes sense. However, the problem we have is because of the fact that when we ship games out, replacing a game is tough. And one of the biggest things, like replacing a single meeple, oh, I didn't get this cardboard sheet. Okay, fine. You put the cardboard sheet in an envelope, padded envelope. You send it out. That's like $1, to send to somebody. When somebody says, oh, my game box got busted up, it's like game boxes cost a lot of money, and they're tough to ship and whatever. So to combat that, what we've done is that we have, and you can go check out the little page there about how the Kickstarter games are packaged, but we double layer them. We put them in, we wrap them in bubble wrap. We put them in a box that covers that up, and then we actually put that box in another box and send that out to try to prevent any and all damage. Now, things still happen, but our damage rate on the boxes and the games that we send out drastically got reduced. It made financial sense for us to do so. So now where I'm going with this is that because we go through that whole packaging process, bundling up 3-4 games together doesn't work because of the fact that the way that we send out our games. And so unfortunately, no, we can't offer bundles. But dovetailing back to my previous thing that I said, as far as the retailer pledges go, that is something that we do offer the retailer. We offer them a big bundle that we send out, and so if you were able to get your local game store to back the game and get them sent to them, or maybe perhaps you approach them and say, hey, here, this is my 2 or 3 or 4 people or whatever, they're able to okay, they're happy because they get to sell you a game. You're happy because maybe you got a little bit of a discount on it, and so it's something that you can look into if you're looking for a group buy. I'm trying to remember other questions that we normally almost always get, and that's cool. I mean, it's cool that we get questions. I mean, it's one of those things where I always trying to maybe head it off in the past a little bit and answer that preemptively, if you will. Sometimes we get asked if sometimes there'll be can I pick this up at a convention? It's unfortunately it's like one of those things where it's like with shipping and with production and everything like that, we usually have a pretty good idea. It's like, oh, we'll send this over to our factory, our manufacturing partner, and we'll send that, and then it'll take a certain number of days, weeks, or whatever for that game to be published, manufactured, and then we gotta get it into a container, and then we got to get that container onto a ship, and then that ship's got to cross over, and then you can see where it is. So we would love, like, knowing, like, and I'm, like, let's say crazy, like, what if this published and we were able to push the button and like we could have it at PAX Unplugged, and I am by no means guaranteeing that at all. Do not quote me on that. But let's just say like we have a good shot of that. Even if by saying we have a good shot of it, even like saying like 95% sure we would have it ready for showing up at PAX Unplugged, which I think is like in early December of this year. Which would be really pushing it as far as manufacturing and publishing a game. But like, even if we're like, oh yeah, it's like ready to go, we can do this. We would never do it. I mean, just because, one, in creating games, whatever can go wrong does go wrong, it seems like, and and it's like, and then we'd have people that it's like, oh, I was going to pick this game up at PAX Unplugged, and it's just like, and then we had maybe a deal where it would be free to pick up at that convention or whatever, and we would be, and then all of a sudden we can't get it there. Well, what are we going to do? Okay, wait till PAX Unplugged 2021. No, I mean, you couldn't do that. So we'd have to ship it, and then that shipping would be on us, and it's just, so it's a kind of a convoluted situation. So unfortunately, we do not offer a convention delivery system, and plus the process of like trying to getting somebody's name on a sheet of paper and then crossing them off and handing them that game and everything like that, it can be very problematic, especially at a busy convention like PAX Unplugged is, which, once again, no guarantee. I'm not offering that. We would never offer that. So please, don't expect that. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and check the Kickstarter page real quick here, because I haven't gone back. I've been watching the chat or whatever in the other page here. I got one newer comment. Let's just check this in. Is this the deluxeified version? Okay, let's see here. So I found the old deluxe version. It looked awesome. We can reach it by stretch goals. That's exactly what it is. So somebody said, is this the deluxeified edition? There isn't a deluxeified edition. This is the other things will be available in retail before, but like I said, in like actually I'll probably post this, but somebody just asked that question. I'm gonna have to go in there and answer those comments here very, very briefly. But no, this is not a deluxeified edition. And you all have been watching this. So we are at 101 backers, which is awesome. We are at $6,500, which is also awesome. So I very pleased that we've launched this and we're going. So we got a couple minutes left, and this video will stay live on the old the page. If you have any questions, wrapping up here, if you have any questions about TMG or the Kickstarter or whatever, please post those as comments, and so that we can get back to those and we can answer them as and let you know what's going on as far as the campaign is. If you have anything else that is not related to this Kickstarter, your best route, as always, to get an answer to that is to send us an email at support@playtmg.com. The email is, we do offer, like, within 48 business hours, you can expect an answer. I mean, if you send us an email like at the end of day Friday, it probably isn't going to get looked at until Monday morning. So just keep that in mind. And plus, of course, we have to catch up with all of, and I think it's Memorial Day coming up, right? Yeah. So like Memorial Day won't happen as well, but so just think of business hours, and that's our responding to those within 48 business hours. But I am it is too bad that Kickstarter stopped doing the live feed. We used to have a lot of people watching, but the people that have watched this live, just from the bottom of all of our hearts here at TMG, thank you so much for engaging with us. Also, for all of our backers, thank you so much for your continued support. For everybody out there who supports this company, and backs our games, buys our games, plays our games, spreads the word about TMG. I can't thank you enough. You are the people that keep the TMG train moving forward always. They keep us inspired, they keep us excited, and keep us making awesome games for not only all of you to play, but for all of us to play as well. Because at our hearts, all of us are big, big gamers here at TMG, and we love to play games. And there's something just awesome about actually making our own games as well. And then being able to play those and to be able to see the smiles on people's faces and when we see them playing those games out there in the wild as it's known. So thank you again, and you have an awesome day. And that's it. That's we're gonna wrap this up. Take care of yourself. Talk to you again soon.